Welcome to Engineering Live. My name is John Roberts, and I'm going to be your host tonight. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We really appreciate you all taking time to be with us. I'm here joined with a few of our very bright engineering and computer science students. And so tonight we're going to be talking all things UK related, and that way you all can really hear their perspective and learn about their experiences. And so all the while, of course, we're going to be taking your questions, so I hope that you have them ready. Before we get started tonight, I do want to make sure that our students introduce themselves to you, so that way you all know who you're talking to. So Julia, if you want to kick us off and give us your name, your home state, where you're from, major, year at UK, and then anything else that you want to, like anything that you're involved in.
Yeah, sure thing. So hi everyone, my name is Julia Stacardis and I am from Prospect, Kentucky. I am a sophomore computer science major, and let me think. I am a part-time co-op at UPS currently, and in addition to that, I am in the Lewis Honors College. I am a dance minor, and I am a math minor.
Fantastic.
Hello everyone, my name's Connor Vomero. I'm a junior majoring in mechanical engineering. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and a few activities I'm involved on campus is engineering ambassador and undergrad research in a materials lab.
Hi everyone, my name's Abby Steyer. I'm from Alexandria, Kentucky. I'm a senior in mining engineering, and I'm a member of Phi Sigma Rho Engineering Sorority, the International Society of Explosives Engineers, and I'm in the Society for Mining, Metallurgy, and Exploration.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here tonight. Before we get started, though, I do have just a couple of things that I want you all to just be aware of. First, before we get going, I do want to make you all aware that December 1st is our deadline for early action admissions and academic scholarships. So you definitely don't want to miss out on those scholarship opportunities. So make sure that you have your scholarships and supplemental materials in by December 1st. Also, I want to encourage everyone in our audience who hasn't come and visited us before to make plans to do that. We are hosting visits virtually and on campus as well. So it's an opportunity for you all to learn more about engineering and computer science at the University of Kentucky. And so to learn more about those opportunities and to register for those visits, you can go to engr.uky.edu/visit. If you go there, you can register for those visits. So you can get that link in the description if you all are interested. All right. So to kind of to kick off the conversation, I think what would be helpful is to just talk about how did you all go about maybe figuring out exactly what it is that you all want to do. So Abby, you're in mining, Connor, you're in mechanical, Julia, you're in computer science. How did you all get to that point in figuring out what it is that you all were going to major in?
I can start. So I actually came to a recruiting event here at UK for women in engineering. So I went to the underground mine in Georgetown with the explosives research team, and we did 10 different explosions with 10 different kinds of explosives, and I actually got to press the button and yell fire in the hole, and I was sold. I was like, yes, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is awesome. So going underground for the first time with UK was what really sold me, and I knew exactly that was what I wanted to do.
So going into mechanical engineering, I kind of always knew that's what I wanted to do. Ever since I was young, I kind of played with Legos, but I didn't really like to follow the instructions all that well. I like to go off and kind of do my own thing and make my own creations. And that just kind of, it blossomed into if something broke on a car, then I'd fix it, and just kind of always tinkering with stuff. That's just kind of where my love for mechanical engineering grew from.
So for me, my kind of transition through figuring out what I wanted to do was a little bit of a roller coaster. So during my high school career, I attended a pre-college program where I got to take classes in, all the different sciences like biology, chemistry, physics, computer science. Like I got to do it all. And I had originally thought I wanted to be a doctor, go to medical school, do all those things. But then I took biology, did not like it one bit, but then took math and computer science classes. And it clicked with me so easily. I thought it was just so much fun to do, which is so geeky, but I just loved it so much. But yeah, and then just coming to UK and getting to continue that, like, that has been so motivating to me, and I could really see myself doing this for, my entire career.
How do you all think the first year engineering program really helped you all to maybe find what you want to do or reaffirm what it is that you thought you might want to do? How do you all think that played a role?
It kind of helped solidify working on a team for me, and being any role in a team.
Mm-hmm.
So it did a lot for teamwork for me, and kind of solidifying my study groups and building my community early on.
So part of the first year engineering program, one of your classes requires you to attend talks by the heads of all the respective engineering chairs. And when I went to the mechanical engineering talk, I absolutely knew that is what I wanted to do. Matter of fact, I called my dad after that and I told him, I said, this is definitely what I want to do. It was so entertaining, and it just absolutely solidified my decision.
So I actually did not go through the first year engineering program. I was kind of a transfer student here at UK. So I took a class called EGR 215, which was Intro to Engineering for Transfer Students. And so in that class, we got to do a wide variety of activities, listen to different talks, but the highlight of the semester was working on a group project where we got to build like a tower crane. And, I even got to incorporate my computer science skills where I got to write the code that actually controlled how the crane moved. So just opportunities like that in that class, I know you get those through the first year engineering program even more, but also as a transfer student, that was just awesome for me.
So going, just building off of something that you just said, talking about transferring in.
Yeah.
Julia, would you mind to just talk a little bit about that process? So, like yourself, and maybe like you all as well, you're gonna, not just Julia, you all can jump in too. AP credits, dual credits, of course, are going to come into play in terms of, students bringing those credits to UK. Can you all talk a little bit about how that process was? And Julie, I'm just picking on you because I know that your background and bringing those courses in.
Yeah, so for me, it was actually a really easy process. So the spring before I began at UK, I had like my orientation. I was in the honors college, so I got to come to campus even earlier. And the College of Engineering had specific events, and one of those was a one-on-one meeting with your advisor, where you could talk about your future at UK, like, the credits that you are coming in with and how those would apply to your degree. So right from the beginning, I got to see a clear picture of how my path would look, even though as a transfer student, like, it did look different than, someone coming in as a freshman with not so many credits. So the advising team made it so easy for me. And then by the end, when I went to register for my classes, I just had a sheet of paper with all my classes I had to take next. And from there, it was super easy.
So I was not a transfer student. However, I came in with some AP credits, and that was nice as I had some of those count towards some classes that counted here. And I would just suggest getting some more of those AP classes. I took 3 in high school, although I probably should have taken more, because it's nice to have some of those credits fulfilled so you can devote more of your time to your engineering classes.
I also came in with some AP dual credit courses, and it was so easy. All you had to do was provide your previous transcripts, and the freshman advisors are amazing. They're fantastic, and they do a great job of translating those to the UK courses, and it's super easy process. It was really great.
Fantastic. And that's kind of my understanding of the process as well, as terms of the professionals that our students have to work with. And not only that, because it's become somewhat ubiquitous for students to take AP classes and dual credit classes as a means to, challenge themselves. And so working with, those opportunities, it seems like a very smooth process. So thank you all for kind of reaffirming that. I do appreciate that. Do want to acknowledge Hunter. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's good to see you with us tonight. Asia, thank you for being with us tonight as well. Asia wants to know, do you have to know how to computer program before pursuing a degree in mechanical engineering? Connor, I think you're the best to maybe answer that.
Sure, yeah. So to computer program, if you're talking about code, no, you don't have to know code before coming here. As part of the first year engineering program, they will teach you and guide you on how to use code such as Python or Java. But in terms of like CAD programs, which is computer-aided design, such as I'm blanking, but if you need to learn, there are CAD programs here. There's a class here that is solely devoted to CAD, and so that helps learn that program and really fully understand how to use it. So,
yeah. Julia, did you have any CS background before you came and pursued that?
Yeah, so I had a little bit from the high school that I attended before coming to UK, so that was helpful for me, but like you didn't necessarily need that coming in because your classes would provide, you know, the knowledge that you needed to know to you to prepare you to be successful.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of switching gears a little bit, can you all talk about maybe living on campus and how that's kind of instrumental maybe in your success and how you feel that gave you the support system that's kind of very much needed in engineering and computer science to be, you know, successful?
Yeah, I can start. I lived in the engineering LLP my freshman year, and it was one of the best decisions that I made coming to college. I made some support systems and found friends and study groups, and it just made everything so much better. So I was pretty okay at chemistry, and my roommate across the hall struggled a little bit in chemistry. I struggled in physics, and he was really good in physics, so we would help each other. And it was just a great trade-off, a great balance, and that was throughout the entirety of the LLP. It was a great system to be in.
And to kind of continue off what Abby was saying, it is awesome because in the engineering LLP, everyone in that building is engineers. And so if you have a question about physics, about chemistry, you can literally knock on anyone's door, and they're probably struggling with it as well. So it's always nice to have a buddy work through problems with you if you don't know what you're doing. And to further the point, there's in Woodland Glen 3, in the engineering LLP, there are tutors solely devoted to helping you succeed in those first year engineering classes, and that's really nice. When you get stuck, if you and your friend don't know, you could just walk out your dorm, and right in that same building, there are tutors there that will help you, and it's free as well. So that's a benefit.
Yeah, my living experience was a little bit different. I did not live in the engineering LLP, but I lived in the honors LLP. But with that, I still had the opportunity to be involved in any of the engineering LLP activities that I wanted to be involved with. So that was just a super nice perk because I could have the honors LLP experience while having the engineering LLP experience at the same time. I feel like Abby and Connor covered, you know, most everything, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but that was awesome for me.
Kyle, thank you so much for joining us tonight. As you see in the chat, I believe your question has been answered. Julie, I want to go back to that real quick, what you're talking about. You know, we have a lot of students that, you know, go into the honors college and that want to, well, they have a hard time choosing between the honors living learning program and the engineering living learning program. So can you maybe walk through how you were able to, you know, get access to some of the perks of the engineering living learning program? You know, who did you talk with? How did you stay informed about those opportunities?
I feel like just the combination of all the resources that I had really helped me to stay on top of, like, you know, the things that I needed to be successful. I mean, really just my peers were a super critical part of that. You know, a lot of them were in the engineering LLP, so they were just a really easy access point. And, you know, as always, like professors, if you need it, they will suggest, you know, these resources to you when you need them or when you want them. Yeah, and then just like, the engineering LLP kind of like advertises their events. They have like the peer mentors who like have groups, and I got connected to one of those groups even though I wasn't in the LLP. So there are plenty of resources. There are so many people you can talk to get that information.
Yeah. So I have a question from Lucas. Lucas, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's good to see you here. He asks, how fast do the honors and engineering LLPs fill up? So I realize you all may not know exactly the answer to that, but just from your experience, how do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I feel like if you want a spot in the LLP, you'll get one. It's pretty much set. If you want a spot, you have one. There's enough beds that you have your own community, and even if you don't get into it and you live in Woodland Glen 3, the community is still there and you can still be a part of it without being up inside of the LLP.
Yeah, I was under that impression as well. I think there's almost 800 rooms in the engineering LLP, so there's plenty of space. And so if you just sign up relatively early, I can't really remark on it very much because I knew I was going to UK pretty soon in my senior year. So I signed up pretty much as soon as the registration opened. But I was under the impression that no, it doesn't fill up very quick. So
yeah, I don't have much to add. But as long as you are timely and again, like for me, I was in the honors LLP, and I also knew early that I wanted to go to UK, so I was pretty on top of it. But I think it is the case that like if you do want to live in the engineering LLP, you should get a spot.
Yeah, and then that's my understanding as well. Is we've got plenty of space, and so I think it's just students need to do their part and just make sure that they're meeting deadlines. And if you'll do that, we will have space for you. Lucas also wants to know a little bit more about the peer mentors. So could you all elaborate a little bit on the peer mentors and maybe your experiences with that?
So you get a peer mentor when you live in the Living Learning program, and you're in a group. So there's so many mentees to the mentor, and you meet with them monthly, and they put on activities for you and provide a source of community and can answer any questions you have. They're also engineering students, so they are very good resources in that way. They answer all the time, like, what professor should I take next semester? Like, is this a good one? Can I get to this building from this building? And they're a great resource.
yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit everything. Like even if you're struggling and say, hey, where do I need to turn to get help? Like they'll guide you in the right direction. Same thing, asking for professors, whatnot. Like all the kind of all the tidbits that you need to know, they'll guide you through.
Yeah, and like I feel like they covered everything. Like they hit the nail on the head. But one thing I want to add is just the opportunity that it gives you to build a community. I know they've already kind of said this, but like my peer mentor group in the Honors College, they were like some of the first people I met at UK. So I met some of my first friends in my peer mentor group. So I think that's another really great benefit of, the peer mentor program.
Absolutely. Caden asks or says, I'm taking an engineering class in high school. Do you all think that is helpful?
100%.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my high school didn't have any engineering classes, and I would always say to my principal, I tried advocating for an engineering class, and so I'm jealous. That's awesome. Highly recommend taking it.
In what ways do you think that that's beneficial? Getting that early start. In what ways does that help?
I would say it just kind of primes your brain. It gets you in that engineering mentality, just for what's about to come.
Having a background in anything is helpful.
Yeah,
sure.
And coming into the college atmosphere and maybe doing it again, it just reinforces it that much more.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, would you say the same thing is true for your CS experience in high school?
Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of like, my program abilities were not good in the beginning, so just having that experience, really allowed me to sharpen them before I came here and took those really, really hard CS classes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Gunnar asks, besides using good habits, how difficult did you find all the calculus classes? I have high school calculus, but I have heard horror stories.
Calculus is tough, but there's so many resources that you can use to help you. And if you use your resources wisely, you will succeed. There's the study. They have the study tutors in Woodland Glen 3, like Connor was saying. There's Tau Beta Pi tutoring. There's the Math Skeller. So that's tutoring through the math department. And there's just absolutely endless resources. I used a lot of YouTube as well. So it's, as long as you use those resources, you will succeed.
And to add on to that, I frequently visited my TA in office hours, and that was really helpful because it's that one-on-one experience. You can ask all the questions you want. If you're doing your homework, they can kind of walk you through it. They're typically graduate students that know quite a bit of calculus, so they're a great resource. And additionally, for Calc 1 and Calc 2, they have something called Math Excel here, and I would highly recommend taking it. Pretty much what it is it's an extra 2 hours of math practice. So you have your lectures, and then you have recitations. And essentially what Math Excel is just an extended recitation, but in that time, you're able to practice so many more problems. It's usually a smaller group than your lectures, so it's so you can ask more of those questions that you may not have in class, and it's just really good because you also get to work with peers as well. So odds are they'll have similar questions, and so it's I would say do it.
Yeah.
Great experience.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I actually personally didn't take calculus here, but I've taken a vast number of other math classes here, and it's been like the same kind of way, like, going to Tau Beta Pi, like whenever I need any help. But also, like, this thing specifically with calculus is that you are never alone in your struggle with calculus. Calculus is hard.
Or engineering in general.
Exactly. Yeah. Calculus is hard. You're not going to be alone. If you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. Your professors are more than willing to help you with anything that you need.
Yeah, that's a good question, Gunnar, because obviously that's one of the classes that really people can struggle with. And I think, Julia, you hit the nail on the head. You know the phrase. So that's the fun of being on live broadcasting. You stumble upon your words. So you got it right. If people would just ask for help, I think sometimes that's the hurdle that people have to get over is asking for help. And so that's why we have all these things in place. We just need students to identify that they need help, and then they've got the help that they need. Very good. So Jonathan, thanks for your question, Jonathan, and thanks for being here. Jonathan wants to know, why did you choose engineering at Kentucky over other programs you were interested in?
Ooh, I want to start this one.
So go for it.
I like the engineering program at UK. One, because it's one of 12 schools in the nation that offer mining engineering. Two, because you can tailor it to yourself. A lot of other schools mandate co-ops or internships, and at UK, those opportunities are still available, but they're not mandated in the same way. So you can tailor your experience to yourself. So I did summer internships, and I did 4 of those, and I graduate this December. So I pushed my graduation date with some scheduling conflicts with some of the classes that I took, but it worked out the best for me. And I think that's one of the biggest things about choosing a college is it right for you? And I think UK does a great job of making your experience one that will best suit you for success.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what really attracted me to UK was the emphasis on success and just how comfortable I felt here. I mean, engineering's arguably one of the hardest disciplines, and being in a place that you feel comfortable, I believe helps you reach your success more effortlessly and more confidently. So
Yeah.
Sweet and simple for me.
Yeah, for sure. For me, it was more of like a firsthand example of someone who was successful upon graduating from the UK College of Engineering. So, as you know, I'm a computer science major, and my brother, my older brother Angelo, he graduated as a computer engineering major back in 2017. And immediately upon graduating, he was hired at a startup in San Francisco as the lead computer vision engineer, and it was a high paying job. It was what he loved to do. Like, he was so happy, and like seeing that firsthand, like that success story was made me feel like, wow, like if he can do something like that, I can do something that amazing too. Like, UK gives their students these opportunities, especially in the College of Engineering. So that really pumped me up.
Yeah, I've noticed that between maybe some other universities where, there's kind of a mentality of, you know, we were talking about that earlier, Abby, where it's like, if you look to your left, look to your right, only one of you is going to make it. Where here at the College of Engineering at UK, it's the opposite. Look to your left, look to your right. You better make sure that all three of you get to the finish line. And we very much promote that culture and really, have a lot of services to help students. So very much that's been my observation as well.
Everyone's so invested in your success.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you need those people. Like with a rigorous program like engineering and computer science, you got to have those people in your corner to be able to get you through some really challenging times, as you all know.
Yeah, and it's not just with calculus professors. Like the question asked earlier, if you need help in calculus, like you can see your professors. Well, same thing with engineering. Your engineering professors want to help you just as much. If you just see them in office hours, they are more than happy to help you out. Usually because there's not a lot of people there, so it's a good time to get to know your professor, and B, it just helps get that one-on-one experience, and it helps learn the information on a deeper level. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's great.
I've had professors say that they would literally drag us across the finish line.
And I believe some of them would do that.
Oh, yeah. I've seen them do it.
Yes. Which, again, it's funny to joke about, but knowing you've got those people in your corner really makes those challenges a lot more bearable, for sure. So, Julia, this question's for you from Hunter. So he says, Julia, if you don't mind me asking, could you go into depth about the process of getting into a co-op/internship? I'm interested in being a computer science major, so he would love to hear more.
Yes, I am so excited to answer this question because UK helped me so much. I had so much support through the whole thing. And before coming to UK, I had never had, a co-op or an internship or anything before. So to start out, it's kind of a long story, but so they have the engineering and computer science career fair every fall, where there are over like 150 employers here just to see engineering and computer science students. And in preparation for this career fair, they have a variety of events, and one of those is, I think it's called Career Connections or whatever, and it's like a 3-day event where they have resume reviews, like interview practice with employers. They have a practice networking event with employers. And so in those events, I was able to get a one-on-one resume review. I also had a practice interview, and I went to the practice networking event. So that helped me to go in really prepared for this career fair. And then I also had just like a list of employers that I was interested in. So upon attending this career fair, I networked with a lot of different people, but the one I ended up going with was UPS. I had 2 different interviews. One was just with an HR person getting to know me, and then one was with a group of like 5 managers. It was really intimidating, but I ended up on a team that I absolutely loved. So I think that's it for my process, but the great thing about this internship that I had, I started it in the summer, and then they invited me to come back this fall. So I'm actually working there part-time now. And I feel like without UK's support, I would not have had this opportunity at all. It was super awesome.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad that you specifically brought the career services.
Yeah.
So a lot of times students think about academic support or just support services, and they think more academics helping you through the calculuses and the challenging classes. There's the other services to help students prepare for life after UK, right?
Mm-hmm.
That are super important in connecting students with co-ops internships, helping you understand what to do in an interview or how to write a resume or those kind of things.
Exactly. And it's like these resources are always there. Like they're not only there when the career fair is coming up. Like you can go to them at any time. Like, oh, I want to apply for this internship. Like, Zach Fuqua, can you help me? Like they are always there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be on a first name basis with those individuals is a great thing.
Exactly.
And they're so good at what they do too. I really appreciate the services that they give our students. Connor, I've got a few mechanical engineering related questions for you, but before I get to that, I want to address Caden's question. Caden says, as a freshman in high school, can I visit UK in person? Could I see the civil engineering programs and whatnot? And so, of course, yes, we are offering in-person tours for the College of Engineering specifically. So we can definitely show you around the facilities, get you at least into a makerspace, and definitely get you into the civil engineering building. So there is, I believe in the chat, some more information about how to register for those visits, but there's also a link in the description about how to register for visits as well. So we definitely encourage you to do that. Can you all speak a little bit about your experience visiting college? So I know you might have to think a little bit back for that, but yeah, how important it was that for you all?
That's so important. I visited UK quite a few times. I was on campus for the recruitment workshops and for women in engineering, and every time I came to campus for those, I saw it again and I loved it again. And I went on the engineering grand tour, which was awesome. It was so informational about just engineering. And you got to learn so much about what you were interested in too. So I picked the mining, mechanical, and civil part of that tour, and you just are so immersed. You're on campus, you're in the buildings, you get to meet professors. And then I actually did a couple campus tours as well, campus grand tours. And on one of them, it was pouring down rain.
Oh no.
Like torrential downpour. And I still loved it. I loved it here. And that's when I knew, like, this is where I need to be.
Even in the rain.
Even in the rain.
That's right.
Correct.
No, yeah, just seeing the place alone, you're just like, you have it. I came back a couple times as well just to take it all in again. It's just so impressive. And the engineering department, I believe, has 7 buildings. Is that correct? Yeah, 7?
6.
6.
Well, in the complex, we have more that are outside of the complex.
Well, yeah, and
we have a good footprint on campus.
That's right. Yeah, we absolutely do. And what's really cool too is all the buildings are connected. So if it is raining really hard and you don't want to go outside, well, you could just walk through one of the tunnels. But yeah, it's just so eye-opening that I knew I had to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, for me, like definitely visiting campus was one of the things that really made me feel like a part of this community for the first time. You know, I definitely had different options I could have pursued. I went on multiple college visits, and, you know, I think it's so important to see what your options are and to see where you feel best for yourself, kind of like what Abby was talking about earlier, just in every aspect. But, you know, specifically with UK, just like seeing the resources firsthand, like going up into the Engineering Career Center offices, going into the, what's that room, the second floor of Argan where they have all the tools and stuff.
The makerspace.
Yeah, the makerspace. Yeah. Silly me. But yeah, just like seeing all these things firsthand, that it's just like not the same as looking at it virtually. Like that will really be what draws you in and makes you feel at home at UK for the first time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's super important to put your feet on campus where you're going to live and learn for the next 4 years or so. I mean, it's just can't replace it. It's super important to be able to do that. So
yeah, it's also really cool being on campus and just walking around campus. What was one of the first things that I noticed was the amount of school spirit that people had, and like how much people truly loved UK. I mean, you will always see someone wearing UK apparel, and that's just really cool to me.
Yeah, it's for a lot of people, it's kind of they're born into
right.
being a UK fan here
Big
in
Blue
Kentucky.
Nation.
Yes, and so it's a way of life.
I don't
It
think
is.
I wore a different color shirt on campus until like my junior year.
Nice.
I didn't feel right not wearing blue.
Yeah, and blue's a great color, so it's
right.
not the worst thing in the world, right? For sure. Connor, I've got a few mechanical related questions for you. So the first one is I want to go into mechanical engineering, but I have an unexplained fear for computer programming. What would you recommend I do to overcome that?
Honestly, I would just watch some YouTube videos or something to kind of ease that fear a bit, because it can be intimidating. But yeah, if you just watch some YouTube videos or read some articles, it will probably get you more immersed in it, and it'll make you feel more confident for your first year engineering classes.
Julia, being the CS major here, any advice for computer programming woes?
Let me see. I mean, practice, kind of like with anything you do, you just practice. But, something I think is worth highlighting, like when you go to college, no matter what your major is, you're going to be thrown into these situations where you're not experienced or you don't know what to expect. And, I guess intending to go into mechanical engineering, but having to program, that can be one of those situations. And so I think the best thing you can do is just prepare to the best of your ability, like ask questions like you are, about what is it like, what can I do in advance. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything specific to programming. There's so many resources out there.
Sure. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that have the same challenge, or so there's going to be even people on campus
There's a lot of people too in my first year engineering class. They're like, code, what is this? I don't know this. And and they walked you through it. They went to office hours and they got through.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, something to mention, like with any of our computer programming components of our curriculum, we don't expect students to come in knowing how to code or program, because there's still a lot of schools that haven't really introduced that into their curriculum. So it's unfair for us to expect that students come in with a certain expertise or level of computer programming. So to your point, Connor, yeah, like our faculty are really good about step by step, this is how you do it, to get people up to speed with that. Second mechanical engineering question from Kyle. He says, I plan to transfer into mechanical engineering, but want to work in the aerospace industry. Does UK offer any programs, services to help with that, like aerospace internships, anything like that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly where my line of interest is. It's in like my whole goal in getting my mechanical engineering internship, mechanical engineering degree is to go into aeronautics and whatnot. And I'm sorry, ask the question again. I totally just drew a blank.
That's totally okay. That's totally fine. So Kyle's going to plan to transfer into mechanical engineering, but he wants to work in aerospace industry. Does UK offer any programs or services to help with that? And so do we offer aerospace internships, co-ops?
Yes. So with a mechanical engineering degree, you can apply to those jobs or internships, co-ops, what have you, that are of aeronautics, aerospace, that type of thing, because mechanical engineers obviously have a pivotal role in designing aircraft. And UK actually offers an aerospace certificate that you can receive. I think it's your senior year. It's part of your curriculum. You have technical electives that you have to fulfill, and if you fulfill enough of those aerospace certificates, you can receive your or aerospace classes, you can receive your aerospace certificate. So pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a well-hidden fact about Kentucky in general is that we actually produce a lot of aerospace technology that we export. And so there's so much, it makes us number 3 in the nation And so there's a lot of opportunities in aerospace within the Lexington area, but then also just Kentucky in general. So if aerospace is something that a student wants to pursue at the University of Kentucky, we certainly not only have some of the courses that you'll need, but we also have a lot of the partnerships that students can expect in terms of internships and co-ops. And there's a lot of students that are interested in those kind of things, and some student organizations as well. So it's definitely, not to mention, I totally skipped over this, we have a NASA Kentucky lab where we're doing research, and we have faculty doing that work. So a lot of great opportunities in terms of aerospace for sure. And then Asia asks, can you go a little more into the opportunities that open up after graduating with a mechanical engineering degree?
That's really up to you. You can go anywhere your heart desires, from designing a dishwasher to designing a blade on a helicopter. It's really where your preference is, and that's what's the beauty about a mechanical engineering degree, is it's so broad that really wherever your interest is, you can apply that where your heart desires. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, a little bit like computer science, mechanical engineering is pretty ubiquitous. And so there's all sorts of industries and companies that are going to have mechanical engineering. So to your point, there's a lot of opportunities with that. Yeah. Abby, speak a little bit about mining engineering. That's a very niche program that I want to make sure that we highlight, because as we were talking before the show, there's just so many cool things. Like you were just showing us that you were just nonchalantly handling C4, and it's so cool. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about the career opportunities for mining engineering?
Yeah, so us mining engineers like to describe mining engineering as a conglomerate of all different kinds of engineering. We do chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, materials, civil. We do it all really. And within the industry, you can work at a mine, which is kind of obvious, but you can work in production, and you can work in the aggregate industry, so like construction materials. You can work in metals, and then you can also go into like the chemical side of mining engineering and do processing. You can go into the mechanical side and design equipment. You can go into the explosives industry and just work in explosives, which that industry is expansive, and you can do all kinds of things within explosives through military research or construction blasting, all kinds of things. But yeah, you can do a whole lot with it, which I didn't know until I got into the program. I came in just because I wanted to blow stuff up, but there's so much more you can do with it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until I got here.
Well, and I think what people glaze over is just how many items we use in our everyday life that have minerals in it.
Yeah. One of our professors, his signature on his email says, sent from my iPhone, brought to you by the mining of 47 different minerals. So.
Yeah, that's a great example. Or like this podcast wouldn't happen without the technology, which has minerals in the equipment. So yeah, absolutely right. So you have to have those engineers that are dedicating their careers and lives and expertise to that area. Plus, it's fun to blow stuff up too. So that's always a pretty cool thing. Jonathan asks, can a student start the first year undecided, and when does an engineering student need to declare their major?
So you declare at the end of your freshman year, when you start your sophomore year, and you can definitely come in undecided. A lot of students do, and kind of figure out what engineering discipline you want to go into in the first year engineering program.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the first year engineering program too. You get a little bit of every engineering discipline, and you can go to those talks by the chairs of the respective engineering heads and just kind of listen and see what interests you and whatnot. And so it's really great that you get to see every type of engineering and kind of pick what you want to do, and you have time to do it too. So it's great.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't go through the first year engineering program, as you all know. But again, like through I know through that first year engineering program, but also through being a transfer student and doing the intro to engineering class, you were exposed to every discipline of engineering, in different ways. And so you always had different opportunities to explore your options, which is what I love about UK. You always have an opportunity to explore your options.
Absolutely, which is one of the things that I think is kind of somewhat unique with our program is the level of flexibility that students have, being able to figure out what the best pathway is to the first year engineering program, but also later on to customize the experience, like minoring in dance, right?
Yes.
And so our students are able to create the experience based upon what's best for them, which is really cool. Asia asks about tuition, which Asia, I see that we have included some more information for you about tuition, but specifically, not necessarily about tuition, but about scholarships. I'd like to hear your all's thoughts about, scholarship opportunities that you all feel like you all have had, being at UK.
Yeah, so there's department specific scholarships within the College of Engineering. So I got a couple through the mining department, and they help out so much. Every small bit helps. So there's department specific ones. There's the College of Engineering wide ones, and there's the university scholarships. And a lot of them will stack, so you can use them all. And definitely look out outside scholarships too. So you can get them from anywhere.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure if you get above a certain score on two levels, if you get above a 27, then it's above a 32. Is that correct? Then
On the math, I think.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure if you get a 27 and above, you get 11,000 off, and then above 32, it's I'm not
we
sure.
got the details.
Yeah, but anyway, through ACT and GPA, you're able to get a sufficient amount off, even being out of state. So that's really good. And additionally, you want to apply to outside scholarships as well, just because stack those on and to help pay for college.
Yeah, and then in addition, for in-state students specifically, there are the Governor's Scholar program. There's Governor's School for the Arts, which I personally did and loved, and then I think there's Governor's School for Entrepreneurs. But those are other opportunities for specifically in-state students to get significant scholarships to cover their tuition.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's plenty of scholarship opportunities within the university, the college, even down to the departmental level. There are, scholarships externally.
Just cast your net wide, really.
Yeah. That's just it. Is to give up a part of a Saturday every Saturday until you go to college to just like research scholarships and apply for scholarships. And at the end of the day, the return of investment for that time is very good. So
it will literally pay off.
It will literally pay off. Absolutely. One thing we haven't touched upon yet, and I would love to just hear your all's thoughts about it, is where we're located, Lexington. Yeah, what's your favorite part about living in Lexington?
I guess I'll get started on this one, but no matter what time of the year it is, there is always something different and fun to do. Like, you never feel like you're just trapped in your dorm, like, oh, what am I going to do today? Like, it's Saturday afternoon. There's nothing here. You never feel like that. Like in the winter, they have outdoor ice skating at Triangle Park, which is right downtown. In the summer and the spring, they have the UK Arboretum where you can go out and explore nature. It's so beautiful. And then they also have a couple of orchards, which you can go to in the fall and go pumpkin picking with your friends. It's just super fun. There's always something fun to do, no matter what time of the year it is. And I love that about Lexington.
Yeah, and to add on, if you don't want to stay in your dorm on a Friday night or anything like that, there's plenty of restaurants and the food is really good here. And if you were thinking more of the scenic route, absolutely the Arboretum, but also being from Cleveland, Ohio, we don't have many horse farms. And the back roads here, driving on back roads and just seeing the horse farms, it is a sight to see, that's for sure.
Yeah, I like the kind of big city feel, but also small town feel of Lexington.
That's very
Like
accurate.
it's not too big, not too small. There's always something to do. The food's awesome. It's just the best of both worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. A question from Lucas. Lucas asks, how has COVID impacted engineering classes? So how have you all handled and coped with that?
Yeah, so some of my classes are online, some are hybrid, and the ones that are in person are spaced out. You have to wear masks in class. It really depends on the professor. Like I said, I have a class in person, I have one class that's hybrid, and I have one that's online. So it's professor dependent, but they've accommodated COVID in three different ways.
Yeah. A lot of my classes are also online, but the professors have done a great job of putting them online and making resources available to you, and just trying to make it easy on us to deal with the transition.
Yeah, and if you don't watch the lecture live, all the lectures are recorded as well, so you can go back and watch those at your leisure if in case that you can't make it to class live that day.
Yeah. For me also, like most of my classes are all online, and like Abby was saying, the professors are so accommodating to the students. I was thinking of something that I really wanted to say. I can't remember it. It felt really important. Now I'm like, oh, come on, Julia. If I think of it, I'll let you guys know.
Fantastic. One more note about COVID. I've really been impressed with the university's response to COVID. As you see here, we're all in masks and socially distanced. And, the fact that the university has allowed students to have an on-campus experience well beyond midterms, kind of well beyond midterms at this point. I think that's a big win, and I've really been impressed with how the university has kept our students safe and our faculty and staff safe. So kudos to the University of Kentucky for that. Jonathan has a question about clubs and organizations. Jonathan asks, does Kentucky have engineering clubs that compete like the Concrete Canoe Challenge or a rocketry team? Before I let them loose on the question, yes, we have a Concrete Canoe team and a Space Lex rocketry team. So both of those opportunities are here. What else do you all want to add as far as student organizations and clubs?
No matter what you want to get involved in, UK has it.
That's right.
Especially within the College of Engineering. So for the mining department, we have a couple specific organizations. So the Society for Mining, Metallurgy, and Exploration is our professional organization. And we go on a conference trip every year. If you're a member and you gain enough points and you're an active member, and those conference trips are free of charge. The organization usually pays for those. So we also have the International Society of Explosives Engineers, which any engineer can join, which is awesome. Like, who doesn't like to blow stuff up? And then we also have the mucking team, which is kind of like mining games. So like one of the activities is gold pan. Another one is like building part of a railroad track, and then pushing a cart full of we used coal when we hosted it. So pushing a cart full of coal down the track. So that was a really fun organization to be a part of. But yeah, there's something for everyone.
Yeah, my freshman year, I was part of Formula Kentucky, which is a race car team here, and it's really cool because they have their different subgroups, and you get to actually work on a race car. And one of my most memorable experiences from it was it was test day, and we went to go test the car at Kentucky Speedway, and there I was standing on a NASCAR racetrack. It was just pretty cool being there. Yeah,
That's so cool. So specifically for computer science, first of all, in terms of like a competitive team, there is a competitive computer science team, and our team has actually placed really well. I don't know the specifics, but I think nationally they placed, I think some like in the top 10, top 5. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but we do have a really talented programming team headed by one of our professors. And then in addition to that, we just have some other organizations that you can join. I'm in the Association for Computing Machinery. And then along with that, I'm in the Association for Computing Machinery for Women. And so those two organizations have been, what I've been the most involved with in terms of computer science. And they go to hackathons together. They host Cat Hacks, which is UK's hackathon every year. You can team up with different people in the organization. There are just so many opportunities to get involved with ACM. And then in ACMW, forming a community of women in computer science has just been so impactful to me. I've met some of my best friends and study buddies, and it's been so great. And then I guess specifically for me, also I'm involved in some other things outside of the College of Engineering, being a dance minor and community service and stuff like that. So I love just getting to be involved with everything here at UK.
Yeah, I think Connor, I think Abby said it. Yeah, there's something for everybody at UK. And I think that's just part of being at a large, comprehensive university like the University of Kentucky. One final thought from you all, because we're kind of winding down time here. I would like for you all to share one piece of advice. If you could go back to your high school self and you're going through the college process and thinking about engineering, computer science, and going through that, what's one piece of advice that you would like to give?
I would say don't be afraid to ask for help. There's so many resources that are available to you, and especially at UK, people that want you to succeed and would do anything to get you to succeed. So utilizing those resources and not being afraid to ask for help when you need it is so important.
I would say have a good balance and be organized. If you have a good balance and you're organized, then the schoolwork is, in my opinion, it's less difficult and it has more structure. And having that balance as well, it keeps you sane. The work is difficult and there's a lot of it, but if you can pick up a hobby or do something to kind of take your mind off of engineering sometimes, it almost helps you focus more for those engineering classes. So having a good balance and organization.
Yeah, I totally agree with Connor. Maintaining a good balance as a college student, especially as an engineering student, that can be really hard. If you have to stay up super late, study for exams, or it's midterms, things are piling up, it can feel really impossible at times, but, in the end, the reward is amazing, seeing the result of your hard work, in a finished program that works after spending hours on it. It's just so satisfying. Or seeing making it to the end of the semester, taking classes you love but were so challenging. It's just so enriching in every way. And then, as you go through that, you have to remember to keep a good balance, to take care of yourself, and to prioritize your well-being. Yeah.
Well, wise words from some very wise minds here. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your all's time and the information that you shared with our audience. We are out of time here, but before we sign off, we want to thank everyone for watching and participating. And for anyone who has questions about anything we covered or anything we did not cover, please feel free to contact us at visit@engr.uky.edu or text us at 859-267-1877. Both of those should be in the description below. For anyone who is interested in learning more about UK's College of Engineering, we encourage you to register for an information session, either virtually or in person. You can do so at engr.uky.edu/visit. The link is in the description below. For updated content about how our faculty, alumni, and students imagine what is possible, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, or at engr.uky.edu. There is a link in the description below with a quick survey. We would love to hear your feedback about Engineering Live. So if you have 30 seconds to share with us your thoughts and your feedback, we would love to hear that. So please fill that out. As a reminder, December 1st is the UK deadline for early action admissions and academic scholarships. So make sure you get those applications in and supplemental materials in by December 1st so you don't miss out on some good dollar and scholarship opportunities. Thank you all again for joining us for Engineering Live. We hope to see you all soon on campus, and go Cats.